It is a stormy night across Indiana. Thanks so much for joining us here at 10 o'clock. Felicia and I are with Angela here in the Weather Center. Want to get you updated on the storms. So let's get right to it, Angela. Do we have any warnings or watches right now?
No watches or warnings, but we're starting to see some information come in about damage.
Okay.
One in our recent history was from Decatur County, and that's going to be near Millhausen. That area was under a severe thunderstorm warning, and then National Weather Service radar started to pick up on some debris. We were able to see that as well. So they issued then a tornado warning, and we are getting reports of some trees and power lines down in Decatur County.
In Decatur County.
Wouldn't be surprised to have that area surveyed just because we are getting reports of damage. And I'm going to show you live Doppler 13 radar, and then I'll show you that debris signal that as we were doing our live coverage, Sean picked up on. The rain itself is starting to exit, which is good news. But if you look just south of Greensburg, that little tornado signature, yes, we have reports now that that we did get a tornado in Decatur County. So this is what we call a debris detector. So different than what you're usually seeing as far as rain or snow, or sometimes we show you the velocities. This actually, the radar can see not only in the horizontal, but it can see in the vertical now. And so when it can see in the vertical, it can see stuff being thrown through the air, perhaps.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is what it picks up on, and we're going to play this loop, and you can see this signature show up, that kind of yellow and then blue color.
Yeah.
That indicates debris. Only about 3, 4, 5 minutes that we think this was on the ground, but getting some reports from a viewer that trees and power lines down and maybe a couple of barns damaged. And this is going to be near the Millhausen area. And I'm going to stop this at 8:27. This is when radar first started to detect some debris in the atmosphere, and this is just to the northwest of Millhausen. Now we have to be careful because this is in the far southern part of our viewing area, so the radar beam can only see so far. So at some point, as you get out far enough, the radar beam is gonna curve a little bit. And so exact location, this might not be the exact location, but it is confirmation to us that something did some damage.
So why does it pop up and then go away? What's the fate that we're...
Most likely this tornado was on the ground for a couple of minutes and that's it. Which is fairly typical for Indiana tornadoes, especially in a situation like this when we had a line of storms developing and there were just a couple of spin-ups. Looks like we might have had another spin up in Bedford around 6:30, 6:45 or so, between 6:30 and 7, give or take. But this one we clearly saw with the debris detector with live Doppler 13 radar. And again, most likely National Weather Service will go out and survey that damage. And then, okay, I started at 8:27. By 8:35, it's gone.
Yeah.
So seriously,
that was quick.
Yeah, a spin up for a few minutes and then it's gone. But unfortunately, those quick spin ups can do a fair amount of damage. Live Doppler 13 radar. This is right now showing the heavy rain moving east. No watches, no warnings, but we're still in rain, pretty heavy at times across the eastern part of the state. And this will continue for the next hour or two, and then we're going to start to clear things out. The severe weather occurred ahead of the cold front. The cold front still across the eastern sections of Illinois, so we still may get some gusty winds with that front, but we're not forecasting any severe weather. And then a chilly change on the way for tomorrow. You can see with Future Track 13 that the rain does move out. So kind of interesting technology as far as the changes that have been made. Radar used to you could only see in one direction, but being able to see in two, the horizontal and the vertical, you really can see stuff flying through the air. And that's how a lot of times we get confirmation that it was a tornado. It wasn't just rotation.
Wow. And please excuse me, I'm not sure if this is a silly question, but
no.
How long has the debris detector been around? Like, how long has that technology been around?
Oh my gosh, you might stump me there. I'm going to say 10, 15 years. I'd have to look back exactly, but it's
close enough.
Relatively new.
Okay.
So, and it helps with winter situations too, because we can oftentimes see, okay, is it a raindrop through the column of air, or is it rain to ice to snow? So it helps in winter situations too. But this, a crucial situation for us to get some verification that there was a tornado.
Our viewers are helping us tell the weather story tonight. They've been sending us some video and pictures tonight. We want to share that with you here at 10 o'clock. So what we're looking at here, this is in Bedford, Indiana. Michelle Miller sending us a photo that she was able to capture there in this particular neighborhood. The city of Bedford said there have been no reports of a tornado touching down in Bedford, but residents in Bedford did report some storm damage there. That's an amazing couple of photos there, Angela.
Yeah, and most likely from this angle appears to be more of a shelf cloud than a tornado. But we do have some video that was shared with one of our photographers that we are efforting to make sure that we are allowed to show it.
Right,
and if
which is different than what we're seeing here.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that would have been, it was a tornado in Bedford.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
If that video is accurate, and again, we're efforting that for the 11 o'clock news.
Right. The video that we do want to put up that you were just taking a look at is in Columbus. This was sent to us by a viewer on Twitter saying the wind line just went through the west side of Columbus near 46 and I-65. Very intense wind for a short period of time. You can see that wind blowing that rain sideways there.
Absolutely. And I will say, we always love when viewers send us pictures and video. This is important to remember that we don't ever want you to put yourself in harm's way to do that.
Right.
And of course, you know, we never want to encourage storm chasers unless that's their profession.
One more piece of video we want to share with you tonight, some flooding. This is going to be something that we're going to see in different areas of Indiana. The Martin County Sheriff's Office posting these pictures showing roads flooding, urging residents to use extreme caution if they are traveling. A lot of mud and water there. And Angela, you and the team always tell us, boy, you don't want to go through high water, do you?
Turn around, don't drown.
That's the saying. That is the saying. And now that it's dark, it's going to be difficult to see that high water. So where we still have the heavy rain, eastern half of the state, you just want to be careful that if you are traveling the next couple of hours and you happen to come across high water, it's going to be impossible to see how deep that is in the dark. So just turn around and find another way to go.
Yeah, be careful if you've got any down power lines in your neighborhood. Don't want to go anywhere near those. Call the utility company. Here's some of the comments we're getting tonight. Tanya saying, rain sideways makes me think of Forrest Gump. And Liz adding to what you're saying, arrive alive.
Yes.
You know, not going through that high water. That's good. Christopher saying Lawrence got 2 heavy downpours. We've got, let's see, Liz saying great shots though tonight, referring to those pictures and video and some of the debris that we've said. Christopher from Lawrence tonight. We've got Kathy saying prayers for those affected. And let's see, a couple of others. Joyce mentioning another station reported a touchdown in Millhausen.
Yes, and we're saying that it did.
Right.
Confirmed at this point. It was confirmed by law enforcement and really confirmed by what we saw on live Doppler 13 radar. And you have to remember, when we track severe weather here, it's very different than how they track it in the plains, where you can clearly see rotation on radar and you know that tornado is coming a half hour, 45 minutes in advance.
Right.
Okay.
You know, oftentimes the tornadoes that happen here happen within a line of thunderstorms, spin up for a couple of minutes, and then are gone.
Yep.
And it's very, very difficult to get lead time. So even if you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, in a situation like today when we had warned you ahead of time that the wind profile was there for tornadoes, you just almost have to treat that severe thunderstorm warning like a tornado warning, especially where we live, because they can spin up in 30 seconds, be on the ground a couple of minutes, and be gone. And that couple minutes, it takes a couple minutes to type out the warning from the National Weather Service. So it's just a really good idea that if you are under a warning, severe thunderstorm, in a situation like we had today, you almost need to treat it like a tornado warning. Does that mean you need to spend 40 minutes in your basement? No, because oftentimes the spin-ups that we get, trees, power lines, a couple shingles, that sort of thing. But you do, and we mentioned that during our coverage, want to be in the middle of your home. You don't want to be by windows and doors. You want to let the storm pass, even if it technically is just a severe thunderstorm warning, because as we saw tonight, a tornado can spin up pretty quick.
Absolutely.
Teresa wanted to know, does anyone know what type of tornado it was, like an EF1? Can you kind of explain how the National Weather Service goes about indicating that?
Sure. So the EF scale is an enhanced Fujita scale, going from EF0 to EF5. We won't know until the National Weather Service goes down and they survey the damage, and then they will rate the tornado based on the damage. Not necessarily what they think the winds were, but what damage did those winds do in relation to the EF scale. So, I mean, if most likely it's going to be on the weak end of that, or the low end of that scale.
Right. Just as viewers may wonder, how do the crews figure out, is it a tornado or straight line winds? What evidence do they look for?
And they do that based on placement of debris. So if the farm was here and there's debris here, here, and here, you know there's rotation. If the farm is here, the barn is here, and the debris is all here, you know it's straight line winds. So based on where the debris ends up. And here in the summertime especially, if we get tornadoes in the summer, you can see spins in farm fields.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes even not in the summer, but when we've got crops in the ground, you can see where the tornado did damage to the crops.
Yeah.
And you can almost see that spin.
Yeah. And can I just say, you're doing a really good job of
thank you.
explaining all this. And then breaking it down for non-meteorological people.
I am a weather nerd.
Yes, yes. Go ahead, girlfriend.
I am a weather nerd.
No, you've been at it all night, you guys. She's been working hard. Our entire weather team has been working really hard, and producers behind the scenes as well. It takes a lot to bring storm coverage together, and you've been doing the cut-ins. A good job to everyone, and of course our crew behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, our newsroom is an awfully busy place right now, gathering up information about tonight's storms. We're going to have more comprehensive coverage along with Angela's assessment of tonight's storms, and we'll look ahead as we look at a big temperature drop tomorrow, right?
You're going to need the coat tomorrow morning. From almost 70 today to upper 30s tomorrow morning. So yeah, we've got lots still to cover, even though the severe threat is moving out. And I have to give a shout out to Sean.
Sean did a great job.
It's great when we have two people because I can analyze the radar and talk people through it, but it would be very difficult for me to get on that debris detector and fine-tooth comb and go back and still speak at the same time.
Yeah, because that was quick. That's why I asked you, why did it show up and go away so fast?
Well, yeah, and so I would have to not speak, you know, for a couple of minutes to be able to go back through that debris tracker and go, okay, did it actually hit? And so to have, you know, somebody like as great as Sean analyzing that data and then to be able to work together to bring that, it's great.
It's the dream team, Angela and Sean.
You guys are in good hands with those two.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us here at 10 o'clock. We'll see you over on Channel 13 at 11 o'clock. Good night.